The first card failed at 6:12 in the morning. I was sitting by my small bedroom window, holding my cup of tea, when I heard the first shout from downstairs. "What do you mean it's declined?" My son-in-law, David, yelled into his phone. His voice carried through the quiet house. It was still dark outside. The streetlights were on, and the world was calm. Inside this house, trouble had just woken up. I heard footsteps rushing in the hallway, then my daughter Lisa's voice, sharp and panicked. "Try another one. Use the blue one. That one always works." I took a slow sip of tea and listened. Silence for a few seconds. Then David again. Louder. "What? That one too? That is impossible. Check again." I could almost hear the bank worker talking on the other end, even though I could not hear the words. I knew that tone. I knew that mix of fake calm and real confusion. Lisa's feet paced up and down the hall. "Let me talk to them." "Give me the phone," she said. There was a shuffle, then her voice. "Hello. Yes, this is Lisa Carter." "No, there must be some mistake. All our cards cannot stop working at the same time. We used them yesterday." "Yes, we have payments." "Yes, we have a limit." "What do you mean the account is restricted?" I stared at the steam rising from my tea. Restricted. That was a big word for them. For me, it was just a button I pressed a few hours earlier. "I do not understand," Lisa said, her voice growing high and tight. "This is a family account. It is in my husband's name and my mother's name. You were saying the main account holder changed the settings. When? How?" My lips moved into a small, tired smile. So now she remembered I was on the account. "Can you please unlock it?" she asked. "We have bills. We have children. We have shopping to do. We cannot have all our credit cards stop working just like that." There was a pause. Then I heard something I had been waiting for. "What do you mean only the main holder can change it back?" Lisa almost shouted. "Who is the main holder?" She already knew the answer, but she wanted the bank to say it out loud. I closed my eyes and imagined the scene. Her face turning pale, her mouth half open, her hand gripping the phone so hard her knuckles turned white. Downstairs, David said, "What is going on, Lisa? Tell me." Her reply came out small. It says the main holder is my mom, Margaret. And she locked everything at 4:03 a.m. today. The clock next to my bed now showed 6:15 a.m. Exactly 2 hours ago, I had clicked, confirm. Exactly 2 hours ago, their cards had started to die, one by one. They had no idea why. But I knew. And maybe you, listening to this, you want to know too. Why would a grandmother do this to her own family? Why would a woman my age wake up in the middle of the night, put on her glasses, open a bank app, and turn off every card that kept this house running? Why would she press that button with steady hands? To understand that, we have to go back a little. Back to last night. Back to Christmas dinner. The house had been full of light then. Fairy lights around the stairs. A small tree in the corner with cheap plastic balls that the children loved. Christmas music coming from the TV. The smell of roast chicken filled the air. Lisa had ordered it from a fancy place in town. She told everyone 3 times how expensive it was. "This is real roast chicken," she said proudly to her children. "Not that dry one Grandma used to make in the old days." She laughed. It was a joke to her. To me, it was a small cut on top of many old cuts. They all sat at the table. The big plates were placed in front of them, the good fork and knife set shining under the light. Fresh, steaming roast chicken. Golden skin. Hot gravy. Soft potatoes. Warm bread. "Mom, can you wait a bit?" Lisa had said earlier. "We'll sort your plate after we serve the kids and David." I stood by the counter, smiling like it did not matter. I watched them serve themselves first. Big portions. Extra gravy. The best pieces of chicken, straight from the center. My plate stayed empty. By the time they remembered me, the chicken was no longer on the table. It was in a metal tray in the kitchen, sitting in the cold air. "Here, Mom," Lisa called out. "We kept some for you." She took a spoon and scraped the leftover pieces into my small plate. Dry bits. Broken skin. Cold potatoes from the side. No gravy left. I sat at the far end of the table, where the light did not shine so bright, and ate my cold leftovers while they laughed and licked their fingers. None of them looked at my plate. None of them asked if I wanted something warm. I chewed slowly, my jaw tired. Inside, something old and quiet in me woke up. As they raised their glasses and thanked God for a beautiful family Christmas, my eyes dropped to the small note stuck on the fridge with a magnet. It was my late husband's handwriting. Remember, Maggie, never give people all the power over you. Keep one key in your own pocket. For years, I thought he meant feelings. That night, I remembered he also meant money. Later, when everyone was asleep, I went to my room, sat on my bed, and opened my phone. If you had walked in then, you would have just seen a small old woman with glasses, her face lit by the blue screen. What you would not know is that I was holding the key my husband had left me. And I was about to turn it. When Lisa finally hung up the phone with the bank, the whole house felt different. The Christmas decorations that had looked cheerful last night now felt like cheap plastic toys staring at her with judgment. She stood in the hallway with her hands shaking, the phone pressed against her chest. All our cards, she whispered to herself. All of them, gone. David paced back and forth, running his hand through his hair. This has to be some mistake. Cards don't just stop working. What did the bank say exactly? Lisa swallowed hard. They said Mom locked the account. David stopped walking. Your mom, why would she do that? Lisa's eyes darted toward the staircase. She expected me to appear at any moment, asking for tea, or walking slowly with my cane, or smiling that gentle smile I put on every morning. But I did not come. I stayed upstairs, listening, watching, waiting. I'll go talk to her, Lisa said, squaring her shoulders. She must be confused. You know how old people get. Old people. I heard that. I heard everything. Her footsteps creaked up the stairs. She tried to soften them, but after many years in this house, I could tell her walk anywhere. Her breathing was tight, nervous. She knocked once. Mom. Another knock. Mom, can we talk? I closed my eyes and didn't answer. I wanted her to feel what silence felt like, the same silence she gave me when I sat with cold food while she laughed at the table. She turned the knob slowly and stepped inside. Her eyes went wide. I was sitting by the window, dressed, coat on, my small bag packed beside me. My hair was brushed, my scarf tied neatly. I looked like someone ready to leave. Mom, she whispered, confused. Why are you dressed like that? I looked up at her calmly. Good morning, Lisa. She blinked. Mom, what is going on? The bank said you changed the account. All our cards stopped working. Please tell me this is a mistake. You didn't mean to do that, right? I took a slow breath. I meant it. She froze. What? Why? We need those cards. Everything we pay for. Yes, I said quietly. Everything. You pay for. Not me. Her face twisted with frustration and fear. Mom, this isn't funny. We have children. We have bills. Just unlock the account and... No. That one word shook her. She stepped back as if I'd slapped her. No. She repeated. Mom, what are you saying? I stood up slowly. It took effort, but I did not let her see the weakness in my legs. I am saying, I said gently, that I am done being treated like someone who doesn't matter. She let out a breath of disbelief. Is this about dinner? Mom, it was just food. You know how Christmas goes. Things were busy. We didn't mean. You didn't mean. I cut in softly. Did you look at my plate, Lisa? At what you gave me after feeding everyone else the best parts? She said nothing. Do you know how many times this year I have eaten alone? I asked. How many times I stayed in my room because there wasn't space for me at the table anymore? Her eyes watered a little. Mom, you're being dramatic. I smiled sadly. No, Lisa, I've been quiet, not dramatic. Her shoulders sagged, and for the first time, she looked truly afraid. But why do this? Why freeze the money? Why all our cards? Because, I said slowly, I finally remembered that your father left me as the main holder for a reason. Lisa swallowed. But Mom, you can't survive alone. You need us. No, I said. I needed you. And you treated me like a burden. Like cold leftovers. She gasped at that, the exact words she had served me the night before. A knock suddenly echoed from downstairs. 3 loud, firm knocks. Lisa turned her head toward the hallway. Who could that be this early? I knew who it was. I had been expecting them. Go answer it, I said calmly. Lisa hurried downstairs, her footsteps echoing in the quiet house. I stayed where I was, staring out the window at the pale morning sky. Then I heard voices. A man speaking politely, a woman answering questions, then, the sound of paper being unfolded. And finally, "Mom," Lisa shouted, her voice shaking. What is this? Why are there people here? What have you done?" I closed my eyes. This was the moment everything would change. I stepped out of my room and walked toward the stairs, my old bones aching, my hand steady on the railing. At the bottom of the staircase, 3 people stood inside the living room, 2 officials in uniforms, carrying clipboards, and Lisa holding a legal document with trembling fingers. She was crying now. "Mom," she cried, "tell me this isn't real. Tell me you didn't do this." But I had done it. All of it. And now they were about to learn the rest. Because the papers Lisa held were not from the bank. They were the other papers I signed last night. I reached the last step. Just as one of the officials said, "Mrs. Carter, we are here to inform you that this house has been legally transferred and is no longer in your possession." Lisa's scream sharpened the air like broken glass. She stared at the officials as if they had spoken a foreign language. "What do you mean the house is not in my possession? I live here, my children live here, my mother lives here." The older official, a calm man with gray hair, repeated his words gently. "Ma'am, as of 4:18 this morning, the property was legally transferred. The new ownership documents are signed, sealed, and filed." Lisa shook the papers in her hand wildly. "Transferred to WHO." The man looked at me. Everyone did. Their eyes followed me as I came down the last step, holding the rail with one hand and my small bag with the other. The woman officer cleared her throat. "The house was transferred to the primary account holder, Mrs. Margaret Lewis." Lisa gasped. "Mom, you can't be serious. You took the house." Her voice cracked. Her face flushed red, and tears spilled down her cheeks. David hurried next to her, his jaw tight, ready to explode. I lowered my bag to the floor and stood quietly, letting the truth settle like dust in the room. Lisa wiped her tears angrily. "Mom, how could you do this? This is our home." "No," I said softly. "It's my home, legally, since the day your father bought it." David stepped forward, shaking. "Why now? Why would you choose Christmas to do this to us?" I looked at him calmly. "You may not remember, but yesterday you told your daughter to stop bothering Grandma with small things when she asked me to help in the kitchen." He blinked, confused. "What does that have to do with anything? It shows exactly how you all see me." A quiet moment passed. The officials waited politely. Lisa was trembling. David's fists were clenched. "I gave you this roof," I said. "And you gave me cold leftovers." Lisa sobbed. "It was just a mistake." "It was not a mistake," I cut in. "It was a pattern." Their mouths closed. They knew I was right. I turned to the officials and nodded. "Thank you for coming. I will handle the rest." They handed me one final envelope, bowed politely, and left the house. The front door shut. Silence. Then chaos. Lisa fell to her knees. "Mom, please, don't do this. Where will we go? What will we do?" Her children came out of their room, rubbing their eyes. "Mommy, why are you crying?" David put his arm around Lisa but glared at me. "You have no right. You blindsided us. You left us with nothing." I raised an eyebrow. "Nothing. You have your jobs, your savings, your health, your family. You just don't have my house anymore. You're kicking us out. Kicking out your own daughter." Lisa wailed. "No," I said gently. "I'm freeing myself. You will leave by the end of today." David shouted, "This is insane." Then he grabbed his wallet and stormed toward the door. "I'm going to the bank," he said. "We'll fix this." He yanked the door open. And froze. 2 more officials stood outside. Behind them was a tow truck. Attached to the truck was David's car. "Sir," one official said firmly, "this vehicle is being reclaimed due to non-payment and frozen accounts." Lisa screamed again. What do you mean frozen? Is this because of the credit cards?" The official nodded. "All financial access linked to the family account has been blocked by the primary holder." David spun toward me, red in the face. "You did this." "I did," I replied without fear. You should not have put everything under my name just because I had good credit. That was your choice. You used me. And tonight, for the first time, I used the system back." Lisa sobbed so hard she could barely speak. "Mom, this isn't you. You're not cruel." I felt my heart twist, because she was right. I wasn't cruel, but I was invisible to them. And invisibility makes a person small until they choose to stand up. "I warned you for years," I said. "But none of you listened. So today, you feel what I have felt." Lisa crawled to my feet, grabbing my hand. "Mom, please, please, we're family." I removed my hand from hers gently. "You remembered that too late." Before anyone could speak again, my phone buzzed in my pocket. A message. From an unknown number. I opened it. My heart sank. It read, "Margaret, you did well. Now come to the cafe on Maple Street. We need to talk. It's about your husband, my husband, the man who died years ago." I felt the world tilt. David noticed my face change. "Who is that? What's going on?" But I couldn't speak. The message was followed by another. "Do not tell your daughter. Come alone." I tightened my grip on my phone. Cold fear spread inside me. What did my husband have to do with this moment? Why now? And who was watching me closely enough to know exactly what I did last night? My bag was still packed. My coat already on. My house reclaimed. My daughter crying. And now this. A secret waiting for me at dawn. I stepped toward the door. Because whatever waited for me next, I knew it was bigger than money. Bigger than revenge. Bigger than hurt feelings. This was something else. Something my husband had left behind. Something that had just woken up. The cold morning air hit my face the moment I stepped outside. It felt sharp, almost like it wanted to pull the truth out of me before I had even taken a single step. I clutched my small bag to my chest and walked down the driveway, leaving behind Lisa's crying, David's rage, and the officials who had come to end the old life I no longer wanted. I didn't look back, not even once. The street was strangely quiet for Christmas morning. Snow crunched under my shoes as I walked toward the cafe on Maple Street. My heart was beating too fast, too loud. Why would someone message me about my husband? He had been gone for 7 years. Buried, mourned, remembered. But something in that message felt wrong. Or right. Or dangerous. When I reached the cafe, the windows were foggy with warm air from inside. I pushed the door gently and stepped in. A single waitress stood behind the counter, wiping a cup. Christmas lights twinkled softly around the ceiling. Only one man sat at a table in the corner. He was older, with silver hair and a face marked by deep lines. Not unkind lines, but lines that looked like they had carried too many secrets for too long. He looked up the moment I entered. "Margaret," he said softly, standing to greet me. I froze. "Do I know you?" He nodded once. "You used to. A long time ago." He gestured for me to sit. My hands trembled as I lowered myself into the chair across from him. "My name is Andrew," he said. "I was your husband's closest friend." I blinked slowly. I don't remember him mentioning an Andrew. A sad smile crossed his face. He couldn't mention me. Not anymore. Not after what happened. My fingers tightened around my bag. "What are you talking about?" He leaned forward. "Your husband didn't die of a heart attack, Margaret." My breath caught. He continued. "He died because he was trying to protect you." The room spun slightly. The lights above the counter blurred. The chair felt too small. My lungs forgot how to breathe. Andrew lowered his voice. "Your husband discovered something. Something dangerous. Something that involved the family finances. And he hid it, in that house." "In the house?" I whispered. He nodded. "Yes. And when he realized someone was after it, he made you the primary holder on everything, the accounts, the house, the insurance. He knew you would one day need protection." I shook my head slowly. "Protection from who?" He exhaled deeply. "From the same people who came after your son-in-law's car this morning. The same people who froze every financial line connected to your family. But not you." My heart jolted. "Why not me?" "Because," he said, his eyes dark and serious, "your husband left them a message too. A warning. That if anything happened to you, the truth he discovered would be released." A chill ran down my spine. Andrew pulled a small envelope from his coat and placed it gently in front of me. "This belongs to you," he said. "Your husband wrote it." My hands shook as I reached for it. Inside was a single sheet of paper, folded neatly. I opened it, and there, written in my husband's handwriting, were 7 words. "If anything happens to Margaret, release it." My eyes filled with tears. Release what? Andrew swallowed hard. He found evidence of a fraud ring. A large one. Not just credit theft. Property laundering. Fake accounts. People in places you wouldn't expect. Politicians. Bankers. Business owners. I felt sick. And they killed him. Andrew nodded once, painfully slow. "Yes. And they will come for you too, unless you leave now." I stared at him, frozen. "Leave? Leave where?" "Far away," he said. "Disappear. Today. Your husband planned for this. He saved money in accounts you don't know about. Accounts only you can access." I covered my mouth with shaking fingers. Everything inside me felt like breaking glass. Andrew reached into his coat again and pulled out another envelope, this one thicker, heavier. "This has all the instructions," he said. "But you must not go back to that house. Not even to say goodbye." I blinked hard. "But my daughter." "Your daughter is in danger because of her husband," he said sharply. "You were not. Your husband made sure of that." My mind raced. "They will blame me for everything." "They already do," Andrew replied gently. "Let them. You staying will only make it worse." My heart twisted painfully. I took the house, froze the cards, ruined their Christmas. "And now you're telling me they are not the biggest problem." He shook his head. "No, Margaret. The real danger hasn't even begun." Suddenly, the cafe door swung open. A man in a dark coat stepped inside. His eyes scanned the room. Andrew's face turned pale. He whispered urgently, "Margaret, don't look at him. That man works for them." My pulse jumped. The man stepped closer, closer, closer. Andrew reached across the table and grabbed my arm tightly. "Listen to me," he whispered fiercely. "When I say run, you run. Do you hear me? Run." The stranger reached our table, stopped, and slowly turned his head toward me. I felt cold all over. Then Andrew whispered, "Run, now." I didn't think. I couldn't think. The moment Andrew whispered, "Run," my legs obeyed before my mind caught up. I pushed back my chair so hard it screeched across the cafe floor. The man in the dark coat lunged toward me, but Andrew stood up fast, faster than a man his age should move, and blocked him. "Go, Margaret," Andrew shouted. "Go." I bolted toward the door, my heart thudding so loudly it drowned out every other sound. The cold air slapped my face as I burst outside. Snow crunched beneath my shoes as I stumbled onto the empty street. Behind me, inside the cafe, I heard a deep crash. A table knocked over. A shout. Andrew yelling something I couldn't make out. I forced myself to move faster. The street was quiet. Too quiet. It was Christmas morning, no cars, no people, no noise. My breath came out in white, shaky clouds as I tried to make sense of where to go. "Do not go back home." Andrew's warning echoed in my mind. I clutched my small bag tighter, the envelope inside bending under my grip. Inside it were my husband's secrets. His warnings. His plans for my escape. My escape. I stood at the corner of the street, shaking, when a black car turned slowly onto Maple Road. My blood froze. The same car from earlier. My heart kicked into overdrive. I backed away, but the car sped up. "Margaret," someone shouted from down the street. I spun around. It was a taxi driver waving to me. Not just any taxi driver, the same man who used to take me to the grocery store every Friday. He recognized me instantly. "Mrs. Lewis," he yelled. "You called for a ride." I hadn't. But someone had. Maybe Andrew. Or my husband's plan. The black car behind me accelerated. I didn't hesitate. I ran to the taxi and jumped inside. "Go," I shouted. "Drive, quickly." The driver looked startled but slammed his foot on the pedal. The taxi shot forward just as the black car turned the corner with vicious speed. "Who's chasing you?" the driver asked in panic. "Just drive," I gasped. We sped through the snowy roads, turning left, then right, then left again, weaving through quiet neighborhoods until the black car disappeared from view. It was only then that I finally allowed myself to breathe. The driver looked at me through the mirror. Where to, Mrs. Lewis? I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out the second envelope Andrew had given me, the one my husband had prepared. I opened it with trembling hands. Inside was a bus ticket, a new bank card, a small key, a handwritten note. I unfolded the note. My dear Margaret, if you were reading this, then you survived long enough to choose your own freedom. Use the ticket. Use the account. Do not trust anyone, not even our daughter, for she does not know the danger around us. Protect yourself. Live well. And forgive me for the life I could not shield you from. My vision blurred with tears. I whispered, take me to the bus station. The driver nodded and turned onto the highway. As we drove, memories of my husband filled my mind, his quiet smile, his soft voice, his strange fear during his last days. Now it all made sense. He wasn't weak. He wasn't paranoid. He was protecting me. After 20 minutes, the taxi reached the bus station. The driver helped me with my bag. Take care, Mrs. Lewis, he said softly. I nodded. Thank you. Inside the station, I approached the counter and handed over my ticket. The woman scanned it and smiled politely. Your bus leaves in 5 minutes, ma'am. Platform 3. 5 minutes. 5 minutes until my old life ended. 5 minutes until I became someone new. I walked to the platform slowly, looking back only once at the snowy road outside and the quiet station behind me. No black car, no officials, no daughter shouting my name. I boarded the bus, found a seat near the window, and placed my bag on my lap. My husband's envelope felt warm in my hands. When the driver started the engine, I let out a long, tired breath. For the first time in years, no one expected anything from me. No chores, no cold leftovers, no quiet disrespect, no pretending to be invisible. I was free. As the bus pulled away from the station, I whispered a final goodbye to the life I had just left. My last thought was of my daughter. I hoped she would learn the lesson life had just handed her. If you take someone for granted too long, one day, you will look up. And they will be gone. The road stretched before me, wide and open. I didn't know where it led. But for the first time in a long time, I wanted to find out.